Okay, so 1 hour ago, I made the last video, the initial results of bleaching the poly, and I'm going to show you the final results. I discovered there was white on the plastic, obviously, because the bleach seeps in, but then after a while, I said a few hours maybe. I'm going to think 1 hour this time, because it's been 1 hour and I'm going to show you the final results right now. It just goes clear again. But the glue was all getting all jaggedy from being all covered in bleach and shit, so I just peeled it back, put down some Max Hold Sport right along there, put some Walker Tape Ultra Hold up there on the poly, all the way to the edge. Like that. So they're both by the Walker Tape they're both from the Walker Tape company. And now, I've just waited 15 minutes, so I'm going to put this down. It's not completely dry in all the places, but it is poly, so it doesn't really fucking matter. It's dry enough. And I'm just going to make sure that's down in the position I need it to be, which is, yeah, no real stretching involved, because all I did was lifted up the front hairline just for what we call a maintenance, front hairline maintenance. Ooh. Oh, okay, I guess I can't show you the exact final results because it's still white. 1 hour is not enough, but I can assure you it will go clear again. At any rate, it should be easier to see what's going on with the bleached front roots at this point. And because I can't be bothered making this video again later on, you're just going to have to imagine what it's going to be like when there's no white plastic anymore. You're just going to have to take my word for the idea that it's going to go clear. So for a hair product, for now, I don't really think muck is the solution if you want a kind of a brush back look. It kind of puts like 17 hairs in a clump and it goes poof like that, and it's not ideal. Something softer that still has some hold. There's really hardly any hold in this, but it is something, right? And this tube, it really doesn't last very long. You'd probably be better off using hair conditioner. Let's just scrape the shit out of that. This is Frizzies, by the way, if you haven't heard of it. You need like a third of a tube to have any effect. Gone already, third use, just like 15 bucks. Too expensive, stupid, don't buy that stuff. Try and think of something else. But cream is a nice, soft way to get your hair to become manageable and style it. And this really doesn't have that much hold to it. When this dries, it'll kind of remember where you've told it to be. Looks like I've got a bit of glue in there. That's because I overshot with the painting. By the way, these V-loops are not falling out because, like I said in a couple of previous videos, that V-loop falling out problem was really specific to a prior hairpiece that I purchased that was faulty. If your V-loops are falling out easily, send it back. It's not a standard problem. These V-loops do not want to just fall out like that other one did in, like, I don't know, 20 videos ago or something. They just want to stay where they are. Now, this is more like it. You want to bleach that shit for 20 minutes at the front hairline, okay? And with the lighting the way it is right now, it almost doesn't matter that the plastic's still a bit white. I'm going to show you that this is the answer to every hairpiece problem you've ever wondered about. Which hairpiece, which glue, which products, how, whatever, right? Aside from the body fat video, which I started with earlier, these three videos were probably my Magnus Opum. Okay, so you're gonna have some shine there. If you do, there's this as well. Okay, so I'm gonna brush the hair back with the poly. Obviously, there's no melting of glue. The room is not hot anymore because it's nighttime. Yeah, it will get hotter in summertime, night times, but at any rate, the 0.03 millimeters, try and do that by separating your fingers at that distance. And that would basically be touching. That's how thin this stuff is, right, at the base. You can see the pressure with which I'm brushing this back from the forehead, right? Doesn't matter, I'm not getting any lip. I'm going all the way through. That is a very fucking strong hold. There are no embarrassing dark patches or roots coming out. Bit of lift there where the glue didn't win against the tug. Don't tug it that hard then, I guess, or glue it better at the front. I glued it as best I could, but you're really limited to the brush that this comes with, which is not good, as I've said in many videos, right? This is fully exposed front hairline. Now, there's only one problem here now that I can see, and that is the shine of the plastic. Can you see the shine of the plastic? I'm just trying to get you to get a very, very good close-up here so you can see every problem, okay? That's a visible shine on the plastic there. The hairs blonding into dark brown are perfect, okay? Now I'm gonna take this magic fucking shine killer from NYX. I only seen it in one store ever. Didn't even look around on the internet for it or anything. I was just looking for some sort of powder or something. The lady said, we haven't got anything like that, it's impossible to stop shine. At the time, I was trying to put this stuff or powder over the exposed glue of lace. Well, once this stuff melts and you start adding powder and stuff to it, it's just gonna be a gooey, glunky mess. Forget the fucking lace, man. Use poly. Dye the roots like I've just shown you. A little dab of this stuff, right? Let's see if you can see this with me. It's magical fucking amazing stuff. Makes it all just disappear. I don't know how it works. It's magic. And you want those roots to be blonde. Because when they're blonde, there's nothing fucking coming out of your forehead except just naturally looking hairs, right? I'm sure the density here is not great. But we don't talk about that. Because otherwise every hairpiece I've got in storage needs to be thrown out and I need to start doing big fucking ones of these. And I don't want to have to start doing that until that gets thinner. But as for this front hairline, which is what you're probably more concerned about, because my hair doesn't matter, yours does, right? This is pretty fucking good. The loops don't need to fall out like I showed you in previous videos. They do not fall out naturally. They only fall out if your hairpiece is a dud. You don't need to be buying lace anymore. You want to get 0.03 millimeter poly. You want to get Schwarzkopf Nordic bleach. This glue is fine. Use that. Your scalp is overheating. Buy that. Still a bit of shine left. By that. By that. By that. By that. Okay. You don't even really need the Q-tips anymore. Just peel it back more. Glue directly onto the hairpiece. Flip it down immediately. If you can't be bothered waiting 15 minutes for it to dry, it'll dry in its own time. It'll take a bit longer because it'll take a long time for the air to get through and everything. 10 seconds later, get in the shower. Just smother it with water, it doesn't matter. Shampoo, conditioner. Doesn't matter which kind of shampoo and conditioner in the world you use, doesn't matter. It's fine. Okay. And you can use something like that if you want. Or you can use something like that. Now that you might want to do the back brush, this is shinier and more beautiful at the moment, but it hasn't dried yet, and I think it'll dry pretty much like there's no product in it. It'll be completely matte finish dry by the end of it. It's already starting to kind of dry a bit. I've taught you how to cut your own hair just in layers, basically. If you're going to shave your own natural hair and stuff, just down to about 15 millimeters, that's what this is, which is just over ½ inch, all the way sides, back, and all the way around the curvature of the head to that point there. Then graduate the hairs. If you've got a hairpiece that starts goes all the way back to there, then just graduate it all the way forward down to a eyebrow length to mid forehead haircut, which suits all men. Sideburn length is optional. I try to, nowadays, if I want to look a bit more sporty, aim for the middle of the nub, or a bit more alternatively, I'd go down a bit like that, down to the bottom of the nub. That's the nub, by the way. I don't know what the fucking name it is. It's like the clitoris of the ear or some shit, I don't know. And yeah, you probably want to shave the back of your neck as well. This is not the most ideal ear trimmer, but it's okay. You need a second mirror so you can see the back of your neck and everything. Otherwise you're doing everything blind. I have this one, but I haven't figured out how to suspend it. If I could, I'd be able to see how bald I am on the back, on the crown of my head. By the looks of things, that's going to all go away, isn't it? I'm a bit fucked, aren't I? But it's extremely useful to have this kind of mirror set up. But I don't want to have to hold it. So what am I going to fucking do? Also, just looking into this mirror instead of that mirror, I can now see better lighting and control where it hits my forehead. The back of the neck can't be hairy like that, so I might just go to a hairdresser and get it done. The other thing though is there shouldn't be a fold there in the back of the neck. That's a fat man's neck. You know what I'm saying? It's a fucking fat man's back of the neck. People of regular corpulence don't have a fucking line of fat back of their fucking fat necks. Jesus fucking Christ, look at that. I get the feeling that that part at the front there does need more glue. So I'll peel that back a bit. The thing is that brush is limiting. You can't really see what you're doing, and you're so scared of getting glue in these hairs here that you tend to act a little bit more conservatively when adding glue to that area. But right now I need that to be perfect, and so I'm going to peel that back enough so that the brush will have full access. I'll peel off this excess. So that's access and excess immediately after one another. Access is spelled A-C-C-E-S-S. Excess is spelled E-X-C-E-S-S. Independent genesises, or genocide, I'd say. Unlike affect and effect, which I'd say were probably born together. In terms of the history, the etymology of those words. You know, affect with an A and effect with an E. Affect is a verb. I can affect the appearance of my hairline by bleaching the roots of the poly hairs. And the effect, E-F-F-E-C-T, will be a more realistic looking front hairline. So leave that bleach on for about 45 minutes, maybe even an hour. I don't think it's going to be too much to do that. But if you do it too long, you might get extreme blonde, and then boom, it goes straight into whatever the color your hair is. And you don't want a solid line of different colors, just blonde to dark. The only reason the transition works is because it sort of mops up or sponges into the higher level hairs. So a lot of time wasting going on here because I didn't glue this bit properly. But it was bent all the way back to there. Usually front hairline maintenance is really only this bit here, not all of that, which I bent back earlier. It's just that I was worried about all the bleach coming in underneath it and all that sort of stuff with the shower water. So I'm gonna just re-glue that. And even though I've said it's okay to just flip it back down immediately, I'm going to leave it to, say, cook. I got one of these, but I think this is an earlier one with a husband flip. If this coagulates too much, see that's not that runny anymore, it's become dried out. If it becomes too thick, apparently you can spray some alcohol into it. Just shake it up and leave it overnight. I've had mixed results with this. I think it's about the amount of alcohol you add to it. I'd say don't add much at all. 3 squirts of alcohol into the size of a little amount of glue would be enough probably. So right now I'm very much being careful to avoid hitting the hairs, but with that I'm limiting myself to maybe putting a little bit less glue on the very front where it needs to be. Also, given this glue is thicker now, there are possibilities that it will chunk and leave lumps right there at the front hairline, which means it goes zhunkunk. You don't want those lumps, which is why it's important to have good consistency glue. But this is starting to get pretty old as I reach the bottom of the barrel. But I'm not going to open a new glue container just yet. The other problem with this product is this brush is way too big. There are no other size brushes that it comes with. I've never really invested in other brushes or figured out a nice clean way to store them after being used. And the Q-tips aren't that accurate either, really. But at least they don't bend back and forward. So just for the sake of teaching, I'll show you how to do it. You really need this sitting on a table, otherwise you could get on your fingers like I'm about to. See, that's not very string. I mean, it's a bit too tough, isn't it? So it's going to be hard for me to do this with one hand. You need a table. Your table is your third hand under most circumstances. Okay, so that's already causing some clumps. At any rate, this is how you would do it if you'd done it on a table. You could get it out easily. Take that tip. And you can see that the Q-tip cannot bend back and forward and create a gigantic circle like that brush can. So it's kind of preferable to using over a brush when it comes to finicky things. You can also see these chunks of glue just being slid along the poly because the glue's a bit old, right? Oh, thank you, you're fully charged. I'm fully charged. Fucking thing. It reminds me I do have to fucking shave the back of my neck. Maybe I'll give it a go now, but without a second mirror. Try to get handheld one until I invent a fucking good mirror for you. Unless you know about a fucking mirror that can hang here and you can just manipulate it around. What a fat fucking neck I've got. If you ever get to my weight or more, find a reason to panic. You're running out of life, you're gonna die, your youth is escaping you, nobody's interested in respecting you, they talk over you. Fat people have the worst possible lives, aside from disabled people. But people with visible disabilities get mercies that other people aren't even entitled to. So in some ways, having a bodily disability gives you an advantage over a fat person. Only temporarily though, unless the fat person has absolutely no disappointment to you being fat for the rest of their life and they fuck their own lives up for no reason. I'm telling you not to do that. If you're fat, you haven't really got a disability. Doesn't matter if you're taking antidepressant medication or whatever, just fucking make sure you walk, make sure your appetite and sitting down in front of the TV. If you're about to eat something, just go out. Like, there's a point at which you're too fat. You will not be respected anymore. I swear to God, there's no bullshit. People will not love you for who you are inside, except maybe your mum will, right? She'll love you no matter what. You murder somebody, I love you, darling, doesn't matter what you do. I always love you unconditionally, but that's a bit bullshit as well. She'll love you more if you're thin. Now let's just talk about this for a second. The shallowness of humanity. Despite everything you've been taught in fairy tales, people do not live happily ever after. That's been all edited out. The divorces and everything can be clearly seen in Into the Woods, the musical. I don't know all the outcomes, but basically All the people who got married at the end of fairy tales get divorced, people die, and the people who win are the fucking assholes who take what they want for themselves. Now, I don't recommend this because people like me will come after you in dark alleys at night and become the demons of karma. So we fucking hate people like that. Alright? Have honour. Do the right thing in life. But don't expect people to find the goodness inside you if you look like a fat ass on the outside. Okay? I even stress this. I've said this before. You're better off being thin and bald than fat with hair. The one advantage of having hair while being fat is that if you keep your chin up at a certain angle, you can trick people if you wear an overcoat and stuff. But once it gets hot in the summertime, t-shirt, they're going to see everything. So, that's symmetrical. I think I missed a bit there. I can only see the double mirror reflection over that direction. At any rate, never give a fuck until I've got a full head, until I'm not bald, until I'm not fat. And if you're becoming not fat, that's obviously effort. Do something with fucking weightlifting or something as well. I measured my body fat in a previous video. It was like 44 inches, which is 112, I think, centimeters around the guts with the love handles. And then this was some measly bullshit, and this was like, oh, well done, charged. It's charged. Thank you, charged. Anyway, let's see if I can finish this. Now I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna have a cigarette. Try and find some diet replacement for food, like all the protein powder I've just purchased, and do the extra 3,000 steps on the orbital. The other thing I'm doing, you know how fat people tend to wear sneakers and tracksuit pants and stuff like that? That's no comparison to walking around your own house with everything you do seeing your disgusting fucking body. You know, if it's cold in your house, shivering, and even if you can have a few days off work or whatever in the future, becoming sick is going to also help you lose weight. Don't get sick and get pneumonia and blame me for it, but if you shiver, your body's getting all toned up and shit, right? Probably better off just going in a freaking freezing cold shower for 3 days straight, just drinking the water out of the shower. You just come out looking like, oh, I'm new. Yeah, so I'm sorry I'm not going to show you this again, but I hope from earlier in the video you saw how great the fucking blonde transition is into the dark brown. It is the ultimate solution. When you sweat and it shines, it won't be a problem. Now, as for people who talk about having full caps and everything and worrying about the heat from the summer sun, yes, it'll sweat underneath, but I don't know how to... I haven't found a solution for that. It didn't slip off. It hasn't slipped off for me, and it's been 33 degrees, 91.4 degrees Fahrenheit. For those of you still living in the dark ages. And there's no shine coming out. So there might be a problem with brush back look with that sort of heat because the plastic and the glue might melt a bit. And this thing does not do its job 100%. It will not stop the sweat. When I take this off, which I did earlier to do the bleaching, it was fucking covered in water and it was sweaty, very sweaty. So this stuff does not stop sweat from coming out of your head. No. I don't know what it does. I don't even know if it helps, to be honest. At any rate, that's the final result of the poly bleaching.